Why everyone thinks they had an M22, but almost nobody did. That ear-piercing mechanical whine in first gear, that is not a defect. It is the sound of engineering survival. At every car meet, the M22 Rock Crusher is the ultimate flex. Yet production archives reveal a brutal truth. Nearly everyone claiming to own one is likely mistaken. In 1969, out of over 240,000 Camaros produced, surviving records indicate that a mere 2,117 units were actually equipped with the M22, representing well under 1% of total production. The deception lies in the aluminum GM utilized the identical 3925661 casting number for the common M21 and the rare M22, creating a perfect disguise that makes them visually indistinguishable from the outside. Zora Arkus Duntov did not build this transmission for street cred. He engineered a specific mechanical solution to keep 427 big blocks from physically tearing the transmission casing apart under torque. If you are ready to separate the mechanical truth from the collector myths, hit that like button, subscribe, and tell us in the comments, have you ever heard a real rock crusher scream? The 1960s horsepower wars did not just break parts. They exposed a critical internal compromise in General Motors' engineering philosophy. While the rival Ford toploader relied on a massive cast-iron carcass to act as a bulletproof safe for its gears, Zora Arkus Duntov gambled everything on aluminum to protect the Corvette weight balance. It was a dangerous bet against physics that the engineering team was reportedly analyzing as early as internal discussions dating back to late 1964. The standard M21 45-degree helical gears acted as silent assassins. Under load, this geometry generates massive axial thrust, a parasitic force that does not just rotate the wheels, but tries to violently gut the transmission from the inside out. This explains why junkyards in the 1970s were littered with split Muncie casings lying like cracked eggshells among the debris. Under the brutal 450-plus pound-feet of a 427 big block, the soft aluminum suffered case stretching. The casing literally flexed past its elastic limit like a rubber band, causing the main shaft and countershaft to physically push apart. This allowed the gear teeth to climb over each other and detonate a catastrophic failure mode that legendary mechanic Smokey Yunick noted would turn the gearbox into a literal shrapnel grenade beneath the driver floorboards. This was not a random failure. It was a mathematical inevitability. GM engineers did not attempt to rewrite the laws of physics. They simply utilized a geometric workaround to save the aluminum case from self-destruction. The solution was not adding more material. It was changing the angle of attack. Standard Muncie gears utilized a steep 45-degree helix angle to allow teeth to slide silently into engagement. But as we established, this silence created the lethal axial thrust that tore cases apart. Zora Arkus Duntov's team responded with calculated geometric precision. They slashed the helix angle down to approximately 22 degrees. This was not just a tweak. It fundamentally redirected the weaponized torque of the big block. By straightening the gears, the M22 converted the case-splitting axial thrust into manageable radial load. Instead of trying to blow the transmission sides out, the force was now directed perpendicularly into the shafts, and the case wall estimated to reduce the destructive outward pressure by nearly 65%. However, shallow angle gears do not slide. They collide. To prevent the teeth from shattering under this new percussive impact, standard steel was useless. GM turned to SAE86, 20 nickel chromium molybdenum alloy, reinforced by a critical shot peening process that blasted the gear surface with steel shot to create a microscopic armored layer of compressive stress against fatigue. Yet, this engineering victory created a corporate nightmare: noise. The M22 gear collision generated a mechanical scream that would fail every passenger car quality standard GM possessed. To get this race hardware past the executives and onto the street, Chevrolet utilized a corporate classification strategy. They listed the M22 in the order guide under the utilitarian label Heavy Duty. In corporate speak, heavy duty was a classification often shared with dump trucks and taxi fleets, applications legally exempt from strict NVH protocols. It was a tacit understanding. Dealers like Don Yenko understood the code. Check the heavy-duty box, and you were not getting a truck part. You were getting a race transmission that screamed because it was alive. The M22 did not exist in a vacuum. It was a desperate, calculated answer to the heavyweight champions fielded by Detroit's rivals. To understand the genius of the rock crusher, one must first acknowledge the brute force of the enemy it was built to survive. The primary threat came from the Ford toploader, a gearbox that was less a transmission and more a cast-iron safe loading gears from the top into a seamless, rigid casing. It was virtually bulletproof, capable of handling over 500 pound-feet of torque in stock, form an abuse that would shatter a standard Muncie. However, it was a blunt instrument. Weighing in at nearly 100 pounds due to its iron construction, the toploader acted as an anchor that threatened the delicate weight balance Zora Arkus Duntov demanded for the Corvette. Following closely was the Chrysler A833, an over-engineered Titan designed specifically for the Hemi. Boasting a massive 3.5-inch center distance between the main shaft and countershaft, it allowed for significantly larger gear teeth. While this architecture made it arguably the strongest four-speed of the era, with a rating pushing 490 pound-feet, its sheer bulk made it a packaging nightmare for a lightweight sports car. This competitive landscape reveals that the M22 never aspired to be the strongest transmission on Earth, as the Ford toploader had already claimed that crude title through sheer mass. Instead, the M22 stood as a masterpiece of engineering balance. While the standard M20 was rated for roughly 350 pound-feet of torque, barely enough for a small block, the M22's specific 22-degree straight-cut geometry vaulted its capacity to over 450 pound-feet. It delivered near cast-iron durability within a featherweight 80-pound aluminum architecture, making it the only transmission in the world that allowed a 427 Corvette to retain its handling DNA while surviving the violence of a drag strip launch. It was not the strongest, but pound for pound, it was the deadliest. If you are looking at a Muncie case stamped 39256661, you are likely looking at a lie. For decades, collectors have treated this casting number as the holy grail of identification. Yet GM production logs reveal a disappointing truth. From 1970 to 1974, this single casing was used indiscriminately for the pedestrian M20, the sporty M21, and the legendary M22. The casting number tells you absolutely nothing about the gears inside. It is merely a container that has fooled thousands. True forensic identification requires looking at what the counterfeiters often miss: the input shaft. While the M20 features 2 identifying grooves, and the M21 has 1, the M22, produced from 1966 through 1974, stands alone with 0 grooves cut into the splines. However, shafts can be swapped. The only 100% irrefutable proof lies hidden behind the side cover. You must look at the helix angle itself. A standard Muncie gear creates a steep sliding slope of about 45 degrees, whereas the M22 reveals its identity with a blunt, nearly vertical 20-degree profile. If it looks like a ladder rather than a slide, you have found the real thing. But the deepest secret in Muncie history belongs to the ghost transmission of 1965. Before the rock crusher became a legend, it existed as a specialized anomaly. Based on fragmented production records, it is believed that only around 57 units were produced that year. Even GM's own internal documentation from that period remains incomplete, which is why this transmission is often referred to as the Ghost Muncie. These early prototypes were so physically robust that the factory had to mill the casting numbers off the case just to bore it out for a massive 1-inch countergear pin. Furthermore, while standard Muncies required messy fluid extraction, these early units came with a factory-installed drain plug, a feature strictly reserved for race teams who needed to dump oil quickly in the pits, seen on competition cars like the Corvette, campaigned by Canadian racer David G. Bills. The Muncie M22 rock crusher was never designed to be civilized. It is loud, heavy, and brutal, a survival tool forged for an era where silence meant failure. That signature high-pitched whine is not a defect. It is the audible frequency of a brave engineering compromise, the sound of Zora Arkus-Duntov trading comfort for the structural integrity required to survive a 427 cubic inch launch. It is the mechanical scream of gears refusing to separate under pressure. So the next time you hear that sound, respect the machine. Whether it is a Holy Grail survivor or a faithful tribute, it is keeping the fire of audacious American engineering alive. If this deep dive sparked your engine, hit like and share so we can uncover more automotive myths. And tell us in the comments, beyond checking the helix angle, what is your secret method for spotting a fake M22 in the wild? Let us hear your experience.